Hi everyone. I wanted to make a video and talk about there was there was one comment on one of my body camera videos, and it said, "What is the point of this? Why is this on here?" Part of the point of my channel is to post body camera videos that are on its face value, without digging further, somewhat boring or mundane. And the reason for that is to show you and to give you a little bit of insight of what police officers do on a day-to-day basis. It's not, this isn't NCIC, or this isn't, Miami Vice or some crazy stuff. We're not like jumping off burning buildings with explosions and, taking our M4s that have suppressors on them and shooting full auto at stuff and, driving our cars off buildings and crazy stuff. It's some of the calls that we go to are not routine, but repetitive or mundane or not as interesting, and I just wanted to give people an insight that you can, in one moment, be sitting in your police car on Facebook on your phone or something and drinking a coffee, and then you have to go to a call for, say, a loud noise complaint, and you go there and there's really nothing there, and there's really not much else to do. Like, that's kind of what happens on a day-to-day basis. Most of the calls are not extreme, and so that's kind of the point, to show you folks that, and that's what I wanted to show. So when you see some of the body camera videos and you're like, man, this is not really that entertaining, think about it, because that's kind of what officers do on a day-to-day basis. So, we'll be sitting in our cars and then we'll get this boring call, and then maybe while we're at the boring call and while we're there, all of a sudden an emergency tone goes off and there's an armed robbery or a shooting or a carjacking or like a suicide or something. And that's when we have to be able to adapt and overcome, and we have to say, okay, we're at this boring call now, this really exigent and serious call that some really bad things are going on potentially. I need to stop what I'm doing. I need to flip the switch and go into, beast mode, if you will, and get my stuff together and make sure that I've got everything good to go, get in my car and go code to that call. Code meaning that you have lights and sirens on. So it's really to give you insight to some of just the boring and mundane stuff. That stuff happens all the time. Everything's not, this action-packed Hollywood stuff. I watched this movie not too long ago. It's called The Other Guys. It's pretty funny, and I believe his name is Will Ferrell, and he's one of the actors. He's like one of the detectives, and so the other detectives, like, they're always getting these like really crazy calls. They're always being, dispatched to handle these like, active shooter and, bank robbery suspects and stuff, while, the other guys are like sitting around and typing reports up and stuff. And I thought that was kind of funny, because, that there is some truth to sitting in front of a computer and typing away. Like, that's what everybody doesn't see, is after we handle a call, we then have to sit and type everything out. We have to take all our observations, everything, witness statements, everything that we have, evidence, and we have to take all that and we have to put it together and we have to tell this story. So, and the story is, well, I went to here at this date and time, and I responded, and I met with so-and-so, and they told me X, Y, and Z, and then I talked to this person, then I walked over here, I found this piece of evidence, and then I talked to this witness, and then this witness told me this, and that, and, you know, some of these reports can be pages and pages long, and, you know, that's some of the multitasking that police officers really have to be good at. And you know, and I would like to transition that to another point of my channel, is that there is more of a significant need for mental health services for police officers. You know, there's a lot of police officers out there, and firefighters, EMS, they see a lot of bad stuff too. And, you know, when they get ready for work and they go to work and they say goodbye to their families or whatnot and they go to work, you know, they have to go to these boring calls. Sometimes it's not all fun and games. It's not all, you know, high action packed or, you know, high stress or high stimulus, and sometimes that can get to you as well, you know. And some of the things that people witness, these police officers witness, excuse me, and they come home with that and they hold it inside, and I'm guilty of this. You have really negative coping mechanisms. You know, it on its face value, nobody wants to, you know, there's this negative, I guess, negative aspect to getting help, right? Like calling somebody up and getting help and talking through your trauma. You know, I'm doing that now, and I'm enrolled in 3 different programs, and I've never had to do this in my life, and I have had to completely cut off alcohol. I've completely cut off alcohol. Thank God I am sober, and that has been one of the best blessings for me, is to cut out alcohol, and to actually finally and legitimately get help for my past traumas, not only in the military but in law enforcement. And you have to bring up these really bad traumas and you have to work through them. That's how it works. And it sucks. The work, you really have to put work into it. But we should encourage that. We as a society should be encouraging that. Here in Maryland, they've started to do that. They've passed a police officer safety bill. Some of it is not that great, but there was some mental health pieces in there. But it's like every 2 years or a year that you would see a psychologist, you know, and that's forcing it, you know, and I almost would feel better if the county or the local police department actually hired their own counselors and therapists and psychologists. I know that would get expensive, and offer those services. Make themselves visible at lineups when, you know, the new shifts come on, they're out. Maybe they do a ride along here and there. Like, and I get it, you know, as an officer, as a patrol officer, the last thing you want to do is have somebody sitting in your car because you want to go and do your own thing. But look, we should be more open, and we as a society should say, hey, we need to take a better look at mental health, because I wish I knew better. I wish I knew what I know now 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I wish I was doing this stuff right after I got out of the Marine Corps, but sometimes we learn the hard way, and I had to learn a very hard lesson. I learned the hard way. But thank God I have started making changes, positive changes in my life. And I'm a little digressing here, but my point is there is a mundane and more routine or boring side to law enforcement, and that's why I'm kind of posting some videos that may not be that entertaining. You know, there's one instance that that I had to go on a call, and it